Welcome to the Yankee Show. Welcome to the Yankee Show. No more disappointment going on this year. Mr. Yankee is live on the air. For his floral designs, he is so damn fine. We have one hell of a time. He will blow your dynamite. He's coming now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everyone around the world, put your hands together for Mr. That's Mr. Yan Skates to you.
Hello, I'm at a festival in Surrey, a music festival. It's an opera festival, so it's a bit posh, but what could be more British than a festival amongst the greenery? I went to the Garden Museum in London to look at their British Flowers Week exhibition, which they do every year. They invite 5 floral artists, mainly from London, but also internationally, to create 5 installations on a theme. Come along to see how 5 very different artists interpreted the theme this year, which was the future. Hello, I'm on my way to the Garden Museum in London. I just happened to meet my friend Harriet here right next to her display at the wonderful Garden Museum. Hello Harriet.
Hello. Jan.
Look at this wonder you made.
Yeah, it's like it's a shrine to nature.
Has it got a name?
Yeah, it's called A Flower Interpretation of Evolution Number 13 by Hilma af Klint, who is a Swedish artist, early 20th century Swedish artist. And yeah, she asked for her work to be hidden for 20 years after her death in 1944. Yeah, so she was pretty forward thinking, but her work basically acts as a shrine to nature, and it basically celebrates and honours nature. And so in my interpretation, I wanted to do the same because, you know, the future is all about protecting the planet, listening to nature, taking nature as its guide. Yeah, so here's my flower interpretation of her work. And then I've used dried and I've also used fresh flowers. So I've used dried flowers because it's sort of like symbolising sort of the everlasting reminder to preserve our planet. And also the fresh flowers have this very ephemeral quality. And so I'm leaving them to, with their short lifespan, if not protected, like our lifespan if we don't protect the planet, they're going to wilt and die. And so I've allowed them to dry, so then they become one within the whole piece. So it's about life, death, cycles, seasons, nurturing the planet. And also, somebody said that it felt like a nest, which, again, something that just came out of listening to people. So yeah, and I've got there's lots of different personal items here. So I've got bird eggs, so again, new life, beginnings.
So there's lots of symbolism.
There's lots of symbolism.
Which looks like there is in the painting as well.
And if you look, do some more research on af Klint, she's deep. She's deep. And then I've been finding so many like layers that since doing it, when I was creating it, that I hadn't actually, you know, necessarily thought of, but they were always there. It's funny, like sometimes with art, that's what happens. So, and also, yeah, my friend
yes,
Wayne.
I saw the little.
Yeah, these are meditation sculptures. So my friend Wayne, he actually. He basically meditates and weaves, and so they create these sculptures. So it's about mindfulness, you know, and just taking a step back, going to nature. I've got a bowl of delphinium petals here, which actually, when I was creating, all the leftover delphinium petals fell, and I've balled them up. So again, fertility, Mother Nature, the womb, life, you know, endless.
I've just done some Rebecca Louise Law research, and she keeps every petal. So
oh my goodness, wow!
Very.
So I'm gonna have to be like that. Okay.
But Harriet, my darling, you have a long, proud tradition of interpreting famous paintings into flowers.
it's a big series now. It's carrying on, and this is the biggest one I've done, the biggest sculpture I've done. Actually, it's the only sculpture I've done. I normally do them on quite a small scale, and then you just have 2 images. But yeah, and then I've got magnifying glasses here.
Yes.
So Hilma was a botanist originally, and so she studied the small details of flowers and then magnified them into these geometric shapes. So you can see. So now I'm sort of subverting her whole process and including her in mine. So I'm taking us back to the roots. So geometric shapes, shrine. I'm making a shrine, and then I'm also having the layer of the magnifying glass for people to kind of just look at the complexity and the intelligence of nature.
Oh, absolutely.
So another little layer.
I've always said that still life should be the biggest art form because you get all the colours, all the shapes.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's a triumph.
Thank you. And also, I better just mention.
Yeah.
I collaborated with my friend Charlie, who's a sound designer, and so he went to Net Wildland in West Sussex and recorded the turtle doves and rare birds at dawn.
I've been there.
And so, you could listen to the soundscape while viewing the piece as well.
So Harriet, how did you get involved in the first place?
Well, I just had an email, and I thought, the day before I was kind of thinking, I don't know whether I want to do flowers anymore. Like, do I just need to go and live in the middle of a forest, just be on my own?
Well, you can still do that.
I can still do that. But then I got an email, and I thought, right, this is fate. No, British Flowers Week called.
So an email came from here, out of the blue,
Yeah, out of the blue.
the day after you decided that's it. That's a miracle.
And then I decided with my project what I was going to do, and I got the theme of the future, and I decided on Hilma. Anyway, Hilma did channel spirits, which I painted. So I've been channeling Hilma. I've been hoping that Hilma's been with me the whole of this time. I think she was telling me to go for it, and thank you to the Garden Museum for keeping me on track and keeping me in the flower world. Hilma and the Garden Museum. Thank you.
Hilma, you've saved the world for Harriet to leave us in that way.
Yeah, there you go. An offering. I'm offering it out, creating spells.
Encouraged by Harriet's wonderful storytelling and the very personal aspects of her work, I decided to contact all the other contributors. I ended up having a wonderful interview with Wagner.
Is it?
Hello.
Directly from Brazil.
We can pretend, can't we? I'm sitting here with Wagner Kreutsch, one of the participants at the Garden Museum, and I'm about to ask him some very probing questions about his
I'm scared.
For anyone who doesn't know Wagner, he is basically one of the best floral designers in the world right now, and you should go and follow him. He's a genius, and I'm not surprised he was chosen as part of the 5 designers for the show. So the theme of the show was the future. Obviously you are the future, not me.
I think you are the future.
The past.
What do you think about the future? Do you think the future is going to be good or bad?
If I've been invited to do this thing, I think I've been doing sort of like flowers like medicine specimens, as if they were all extinct. Because I'm convinced that the flower industry is going to be cancer.
Dead, yes, yeah. I think I have actually another theory. I think actually we're going to be all in jail in the future.
Jail.
Yes. Because I think we have killed a lot of like
forestry.
I think the plant right will be rights, like movement. So the future is a difficult theme. It is very broad. It kind of threw me in a loop when I got the theme. I was like, for months just kind of trying to understand like what I would bring. I don't know. It was very difficult at the beginning, but then I forgot about it, and then I was just like, let's just focus on creating something that feels meaningful to me at least.
Does your sculpture have a name?
Well, it's Vase of Roses. That's
Vase of Roses.
Vase of Roses. Yeah. I wanted to do a vase of roses. The idea came actually when I was in Mexico. I was in Mexico doing a wedding there, and I was kind of walking around and with another florist who is amazing, Gabriela Salazar, who is a Mexican florist. She brought me to a flower a market, like a street market in a very tiny city in Oaxaca in Mexico, because she wanted to show me like how amazing, like original it was still, like the Mexican kind of market. And it blew my mind. It was like this tiny market, and everybody would just bring like their own kind of, I don't know, 2 pumpkins. Like it was literally like that small, like just for the village. But there was a certain like a dignity to people there. It was just very, very, very touching. And I remember like there was a guy who was selling 2 bunches of roses, and we were talking like we were in the middle of the desert, really like. And he had this beautiful just 2 little bunches. That's everything he had to sell. Garden roses, very beautiful, delicate, and
probably next to nothing money-wise.
Yeah, I mean, like 50p I think she paid, because Gabriela bought the roses, and I remember watching her from afar because I didn't actually see before, and that was the kind of the beginning of the thing. I was like, oh, there is something very powerful about roses, because I was also thinking like what I'm gonna use, right? Oh, it's July, June.
Yeah.
So there will be a lot of roses. So that was kind of the process of like I wanted to work with roses. It sounds very poetic, but I was just trying to find the material.
No, it's interesting about the choice of the rose, because there's so many connotations with roses, but you chose it for seasonality.
Yes, it was pretty much. But then also, after I decided on that, like I went to like research a little bit more. I didn't even know that the museum had the exhibition on roses.
Right.
Which kind of just came together. When I came back from Mexico, then I went to visit the exhibition on roses as well, and so yeah, it's very quintessential English, right? Like there's so much
British flowers.
Yes. So, but it was not that the reason why I chose roses, and I also like decided to not use like the classic kind of garden rose. I went for the dog rose, which I find very beautiful, very delicate, but at the same time kind of overlooked and like.
Where did you find that? They look like they were dug out of someone's garden.
The kind of word. They grow everywhere. They grow like weed everywhere. Like if you go to the highways, which is something I discovered, they plant like next to the highways to avoid people from crossing. So there is so much of it. I went there, stopped my car. That's a lot of them. And then some of them also came from a farm.
Oh, because I thought they were like dug out with roots and everything.
No, they're separate, because there is a container there with water.
Oh, right.
Yeah, hidden inside.
You said something you said something very interesting about the vase being a symbol of...
You were like too heavy.
I mean, it's quite a big statement.
Yeah, no, I think I've been, because this year like I for the first time had the chance to go to the Amazon in Brazil. I'm from Brazil, but I'm from very south. So it has been always a dream to go to the Amazon, and there is so much things happening in Brazil right now, like in terms of like the way that the Amazon has been destroyed like never before, really. So it's a very sad moment for them. And I went to the Amazon, and I came back with this very strong idea of like how nature is still being used as commodity in so many ways. Floristry, I think it's the same. It's the same thing. We use flowers for pleasure. So the vase is kind of symbolic in that sense of like it's there to kind of hold this nature. just for us to enjoy, right? So it seems like kind of, yeah, I don't know. So the whole thing of the future, I thought like, okay, so what about if we bring this vase to life, like something that speaks, that makes people think a little bit about whatever is in the vase is also alive. Well, it is alive. Then we should just be a bit more aware of where the flowers are coming from.
But it is interesting about it does make sense, but it's interesting that you find the vase almost an offensive weapon.
No, I don't at all. I just think like, no, there's no judgment on it. Like, I think the vase is a place of possibilities for us, right? For florists, I mean, it's a place where we create everything. So philosophically speaking, the vase for us is everything really, like in terms of allowing creativity to happen. So it's not just judgment, it's more like a statement. It is, right? It is also a place of like objectification of nature. The same way that I don't know what else would be a space for objectification. Like grocery store. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
it's the same thing.
So how do you feel?
People are not seeing you though.
Seen enough of me.
I'm actually bumping into the table. Sorry guys.
Cuddle rather. How do you feel it went?
I was happy with the result of this work. Like, I'm very critical on that. Well, I think we are all very critical, right? But I am very harsh on myself in most of my projects. Like, after the project, I'm like, should have done differently. I think this one, because the process was so beautiful for me, like it involved like so many people that I admire so much. You know, like there was like this collaboration with like a lot of different people, like in the community. So it was actually a quite beautiful project. I really like to work with it, you know, because it was literally like everything. I think the only thing there that is naturally sourced by my own hands and by, you know, is the screws that hold the roots together. And the platform, I mean, platform is wood that was made, you know. But even the platform, I had help with the incredible a friend of mine who's amazing, talented. And so even there was like really well taught, you know, like in the way that. So it was a collaboration of many people. There was the ceramic piece, the small thing that called the small arrangement that was next to it, which was a collaboration with a Brazilian ceramicist. So there was a lot of.
So you're involved in every part of the process.
Yeah, it was a very, very beautiful project. And the mud, which is kind of all collected by myself, so it was a lot of physical work, you know, like it looks nice, but it was very hard work.
Try to make it easy for yourself, or what?
Yeah, no, I collected all the wood in the river as well. Honestly, it was like, I had a lot of time though. I was lucky because I came back from Mexico like after this job there, and I had that month like almost nothing really happening. So I was lucky to kind of be able to do it slowly, you know, like the whole root thing. It was really like a whole month of and then testing the mud and then.
Labor of love. Would you ever do this installation again?
The same format? No,
Or is that it? It's finished.
I think the thing that I like about floristry, and the powerful thing about floristry for me at least, is the ephemeral aspect of it. I like the fact that this novel exists anymore. That really adds to the story, and so I don't think that way. No, I think the technique. I think I would like to explore a little bit more in different shapes, perhaps, or but no, like, I don't think I would do the same.
So Vase of Roses is not going on a world tour?
No, it's gone already. So like it's dismantled. Yes.
Really? I was going to ask to borrow it.
You would have had it. I would have delivered to you.
Unfortunately, Christophe Berretero, the head tutor at McQueens schools, was too busy to meet up for a chat, but I did catch him very briefly in the market.
You're so naughty.
And there he is, the man, the genius, being very busy in the market.
Busy.
Oh, poor Christophe. He's always so busy. Christophe is the main head designer at McQueen's Flower School in London, which is the best flower school in London, I would say. And superficially their design is a greenhouse. And what he's trying to say with that is that the future of floristry is the new florist. Basically his students coming through is the future of floristry. So you can argue whether that is the future of floristry, but is it the future of the industry or the world? But I think he's got a point. If we are talking about the future of floristry and flowers in the flower industry, then obviously we do need new talent. It's beautifully made. It looks posh, which is obviously all the things that McQueens Flower School stand for. And it sort of stayed with me. The design is very striking and the colors are beautiful. So I think it's a good solution. The fourth designer is Frida Kim. Her installation is called Inner Sanctum. Frida is originally Korean, but she's very much part of the London floral art scene. She is the darling of the very influential magazine Rake's Progress, and she's also very favored by luxury brands and fashion brands, and always comes up with something interesting, thought-provoking, slightly otherworldly. It's got that very clear Asian feel to it. All the materials are sourced in Britain, so you get a nice British tick there. The main building material is bamboo, which in Asia, according to her own literature, is seen as a gift from God because of its strong qualities for building houses and structures generally. Creating a space where you can value nature and think about how important it is to keep safe for the future is a very good solution to this theme. Our fifth, but by no means least, designer is Kate Wren Flowers. She calls her installation Sustainability is Now, Tomorrow and the Future. She is coming from the point of view of all florists these days who have got a very, very strong interest in sustainability. In fact, when you work in events floristry, you have to fill out lots of documentation every time you do an event that you have considered recycling and sustainability through all aspects of your work. She's created a structure that holds the flowers. All the flowers are local grown British flowers and grown without pesticides. So her message is very much from a florist of today about sustainability and using fresh flowers locally grown. She is from Zimbabwe, but London based. There you go. That was a quick look at the wonderful Garden Museum's British Flower Week 2022. It's only ever on for 4 days, so this is your chance to not miss the show. I thought the exhibition represented a wonderful, complete world view with representation from the UK, South America, Europe, Asia and Africa. I thought the exhibition gave us a chance to have a real good look into various type of floral artist view of the world. We have a floral artist who represents an artist who wants to save their work for the future. We have an artist who thinks of themselves as a vessel to be used for expression. We have an artist who is nurturing the future talents. We have an artist who wants to tell us to slow down and contemplate the importance of nature, and we have a floral artist who tells us that we need action now by recycling and thinking of sustainability. And I think all those views are valid on a theme called the future. Now I'm standing here in my own British flower garden, and at the moment it's wild orchid season, and we also have lots of scabious out at the moment, which means that the annual visitor of the 7-spotted burnet is all over the garden. I'll show you a few little clips of them all. In the meantime, please subscribe. I look forward to seeing you again, and who knows what the Jan show will come up with next time, but it's bound to be something to do with flowers and art. For now, bye bye.